All right, boys and girls, gentlemen, others, welcome to it's November. It's Tom Burns, it's Indiana and Young Scouts. It's Indiana's 203rd birthday today. So happy birthday to the Hoosier State. So we are, what were we? The 16th state. So there you go. Scoutmaster, who's with us tonight?
This is Troop 427 from St. Lawrence.
All right, guys, glad to have you aboard here. This isn't like a city council. We're kind of have the reputation. We go fast. We get some things done. If you've played soccer or baseball in any of the parks in the city of Lawrence, Eric Martin here is our superintendent and his staff. We're a bunch of khaki church mice that run around on pretty much a shoestring. If you've played baseball or softball or soccer or anything in any of our parks, this is kind of where it comes from. But it's Eric's group, Eric's department that makes sure you guys have somewhere to play. So hopefully you'll learn a little bit here from us folks up here. Me and Mr. Burns are retired school teachers in Lawrence Township. So this is what we do for fun. Some people collect thimbles. So this is what we do. Real quick, before we do the minutes and all that, Sean Denny's not with us, but this would have been Sean's last meeting with us. Mr. Denny ran and was elected at large as, I want to make sure this is reflected in the minutes, ran at large and was elected for City of Lawrence Council, and he will be taking that. And Sean's a good man. He also is a former school teacher in IPS. But he will be representing the entire city of Lawrence, 50,000, starting in January 1st, and he's a good guy. Sean established Lawrence Parks Foundation. He's a good guy, and he's one of the good ones, and now that he is a lawmaker, I expect this group here to bug him significantly for our needs. He's just a good gentleman. And it's something you scouts, go online, City of Lawrence, find out the councilman. It's okay. Your parents may tell you to shut up when you bug them. But council folks, Mayor Collier, who I taught with at Lawrence North for 20 plus years, it's okay to bug them, okay? Because I know eventually you guys will be voters. So bug the hell out of them. It's okay. With that said, thank you, Dee, for getting the minutes out. And folks, if you've had a chance to peruse them, is there any changes, additions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I have some changes.
Okay, go ahead, hon.
I would like to suggest that we add a little more detail on the discussion with the short-term agreement with Structure Point, the fact that we discussed the cost of it, why it was not furthered, that we had concerns with the overall cost.
Got it. Duly noted. Thank you.
I think when someone wants to look back in the future, we were concerned with the expense versus what we would get in return, maybe what we'd already got.
Got it. Good point.
As well as, I think we should add that it was Sean Denny that suggested maybe Eric at least inquire an alternative price with another company or see if there were options.
Okay.
In fact, I watched the tape of the meeting just before I came just to make sure that's.
We are going to have a discussion on a revised proposal from Structure Point here. Anything else? Changes, additions there, gang, colleagues? All right, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. I know it's hard for you guys to believe. The only comments I have are, it's December already. Big basketball game, 5 minutes away from here tonight. LCLN. So,
Right.
my alma mater against where I call home, Lawrence North. So, I guess go Wildcats, since we're live on television. Please don't throw rocks at me. That's the big issue. Just a couple things from last month. Where are we at, Eric, with playground, new playground equipment?
It's in the warehouse. We have not started the installation yet. We requested a purchase order for the dumpsters today, so hopefully we'll have those maybe next week and can start the demo process next week.
Real quick, we did get our show wagon is now out and about. If you guys have the chance, the thing's a monstrosity. And I was bugging Eric yesterday. Are we going to look at a storage facility for it?
Right now it's back at the maintenance shop. It's outdoors, so we're trying to figure out a cost-effective way to get it inside. The street department's looking at some additional prefab buildings to get some of their equipment in, so we might be going in together to buy something.
If you guys haven't seen this thing, it's a monstrosity.
Way bigger than the other.
Yeah, way bigger than the other.
Yeah.
It's involved.
Okay.
Yeah, it's involved. Don't know, when you say, did you get your money's worth? We got our money's worth and then some. Is the furnace up and going again at Starrett Center, boss?
Yes.
All right, good. Everybody's happy. High five to the department on the Christmas gala. And I know we had some wind issues when they drove by, and a high five to them to get that going. Anything on the sledding hill? I know I'm thinking ahead that it's going to snow. These guys are going to want to sled. So anything on the sledding hill?
We have not gotten any material to put in there. The street department's going to possibly help us with that. But in the meantime, we'll get some orange fencing or something up there at least to
Okay.
barricade it off.
And then lastly, I know we could get into winter time. Unless we have something major, from last month, it says we're $7,000 over the overtime budget. We will weather this.
Yeah, we've still got sufficient funds in the general account, so yeah, I think we still have 95,000 in the regular account, so we have ample funds to fund to the end of the year.
And then lastly, it is December, feels like it. We need to start hammering our youth leagues about coming in and getting agreements done. Pronto. Colleagues, anything for good of the cause? Miss Judith? Miss Helen? Anything? All right.
Later. I have,
Go ahead, kiddo.
do it now?
Yep.
I would, to help us fulfill the board's fiduciary responsibilities and take a serious look at how our expenses are paid out, I would like to make a motion that the Parks Board members receive an expanded version of our disbursements. I know there's a different one. In fact, I talked with Eric about this. And I strayed from the motion. I would like to move that we receive an expanded version, at least quarterly. Every meeting wouldn't be bad, but at least quarterly, to see the details on the accounts.
Okay, I'm being an idiot here, so be a little more specific. Teach me something here.
On these, just a basic accounting, we have all these, all these accounts where we spend out of. And
Right.
money is, sometimes we move money from place to place. I think we should see the detail underneath.
Got it.
Eric is aware of what, you called it an expanded version. I don't know if you have an official title for that type of printout?
Well, what we would recommend, it would actually come from the controller's office. You'd get the same financial claim statements that the council gets.
Okay.
And that, which we could probably mark out the other departments and just show our department, but
They could exclude that. It's just a filter. I mean, if it's accounting program, they could probably give one specific
I don't
to this department.
see that as an issue at all. I think that
I think,
makes
especially
sense.
considering last month's meeting and where we've got money and we have to, where things are moved around, but I think we should know what specifically we're paying, who we're paying,
I'm more concerned with
what
who.
category.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm more concerned with who. I like that. You know, you probably can develop trends that you see, but I think we do need a breakout. This is better than it was, let's say, 10 years ago, obviously. But we need probably a breakout of just our department where, who and what.
We'll have to look into that, see what we can, we physically go in, look at each, and then you have to backtrack to look to see what the vendor, we can see what monies comes out of account, but then we have to go back in to see what vendor it was.
About every quarter, would you say?
I'd say at least, but can I give any,
Go ahead,
at
yes,
some
that's
point
what
we'll
I'm
have a
asking.
discussion?
I'll second.
Yeah, I don't even think we need a motion, I just like the idea, I think we
Let's-
need to
let's put
know
it- Let's
that.
put it on the record, so.
Okay, got it.
We're saying that we want that.
Detailed, how often, guys? Quarterly?
Oh, Can I ask a
Go ahead.
question? Can we get every month? Can you bring it to us before the council approves it? Do they still do it on the third Wednesdays?
They have two claim periods, one, the first meeting and the Wednesday meeting.
Is it possible bring it before, or do we have to do it post?
Post, yeah, that's what I was wondering.
When did they get it? I wanted to make, when did you tell me they get it? Didn't want to interrupt, but when did,
They review claims at the first of at their monthly meeting at the first of the month, and also
Mid-month, 15th roughly.
yeah.
And our meeting usually falls right between the
Between the
two. So, but if they get it at the first, that means they're gonna do is it a public reckoning at their mid-month meeting?
No, it's just for that 2-week period
Okay.
between the claim cycles,
So
so.
would you look at wanting this monthly? We're in a technology era, I agree, I don't.
It should be
if you
quick.
have filter, geez, oh Pete.
Ideally, you'd get it every month. If that's, I don't want to create,
or exactly like you said, we'll see a pattern.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was shooting for. So if possible, we'd like to see, starting in January 2020, monthly detailed output, please.
They probably call it an expanded report, but if it comes from the city building, they'll probably know how to just filter it for
Yeah,
our
that's what I was
department.
thinking.
I'm sure that we can pull something up. I'm not sure what. Yeah. If nothing else, I get them before I'm on the same council schedule, so I see all the department's expenditures for the.
We'd like to have a gander. And if you guys, like I said, if you see some, I like the transparency of it all. I mean, council folks look at all the departments. I think we can give it a better look over since it's isolated just to us. I like that.
We can do that.
So,
Right.
we gonna vote on it?
No, I don't think we need to.
yeah, I'd say put
I
it
made the motion,
on the record.
All right,
Tom seconded it.
let's go through it again. Your motion, Miss Judith.
I would like to make the motion that we receive an expanded version of the disbursements for each, monthly.
Monthly disbursement.
They're printed out for us starting January.
Second.
Okay.
Seconded by Tom. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes, I like that idea. Good idea. All right. Anything else, colleagues? Eric, you got anything for us?
Just real briefly, I wanted to expand on what Judy mentioned before the meeting started. We had a Eagle Scout from I believe it's from the Methodist Church group that did a
Now listen closely, Scouts.
tree planting for us. He actually raised the funds. He was paid by Ski Landscape and Waste Management or
Race.
Raised Trash Service to clean up along 56th Street. So he raised money that way and then bought the trees from Ski Landscape and planted those at our community park. So just letting you know that we'll, Eagle Scout projects or troop projects, we're more than willing to.
Yeah, just
Down
communicate
discuss
with
and-
Eric's office. We've had multitudes of scout folks. If you need, like I said, a troop or definitely Eagle Scout project, first thing you got to learn, scouts, don't be bashful, okay? Jump in there. Eric's office, 99% of the time, we're not going to say no, okay? So if you're looking for projects and the like, even if beyond the scout project, church project, civic project, reach out and we can find things for you to do that are meaningful, not just to get things done, but are meaningful. So don't hesitate.
Beyond that, just quickly, the Christmas program that the city put on, we've had roughly 600 people there.
The weather, I just didn't know if we were going to pull it
I'm really
off.
surprised that the weather cooperated.
Yeah.
But, Brian Wilkes was our master of ceremonies, did a great job, and I guess he's
Yeah.
agreed to come back again next year. The department floats were nice.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Just say interesting. I don't know why. Wow. You can tell there's a lot of male employees in the city of Lawrence. We'll just leave it at that. Okay. Creativity wasn't flowing, but it was interesting.
Well, the utilities had a really very unique one, I thought, but
Do we have a Christmas sign up, by the way, over at the, whatever we call that?
oh, we do not. No.
I figured you'd be doing one.
Now we did one 2 years ago.
Why didn't we have one?
Well, because I was busy working on our
Float. It
Float
was
the last
cold and
moment.
rainy yesterday. It was just cold and dreary today. I think by mandate, tell RJ.
I was a little disappointed.
Yes, tell RJ his back's against the wall. We want a sign. Tell Bobby. That's something Bob can do.
Bob's off for the rest of the year, so
Oh,
that's the
you can see his
unfortunate
creative
thing.
juices.
Yeah, we work so much during the year that most everybody gets the entire
Sick
month.
of you, and they want to take time off. All right. Anything else there, Mr.
No,
Eric?
no, that's it.
All right, guys, take a look. Miss D, and this is the second month in a row D and I have had premonitions of a topic, and this month was on meeting dates. All of them are the second Wednesday till you get down to November 11th, 2020. And the recommendation is we have it on November 18th, which is 8 days before Thanksgiving. And I'll let you guys peruse that, but generally we finalize our dates for meetings for the upcoming year in January. I don't think we don't have to finalize it yet. We have to at least be aware that, because that's the exact thing I was thinking on November 11th was we have a meeting that day.
Is the 18th a council meeting?
It's the 18th of council meeting. Good call. Probably is. So, thank you, Tom. We were sitting bantering before the meeting November 12th or November 4th, which is day after election day, which, you know, in our world, we do what we do.
Friday. Are we allowed to have it on a day other than Wednesday? I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's right. We can have it on Thursday, the 12th, if you wanted to.
Yeah, as long as you give
Yeah.
the
We'll
notice.
give 48 hours notice. So, guys, you can chew on that a bit. I think all the other dates are solid, but we can chew on that. Look at your calendars, and we'll finalize it in January. Just go look. You know how the world, kids don't wish your life away, but you have to plan, okay? So look at your calendars, and we can come back in January to finalize that.
stay.
What are you looking at?
Are you going?
Day after Election Day, maybe we,
Oh, yeah, heck.
Could be a good day, could be not.
So look at it, and we will finalize that one date in January, just to play it
Are
safe.
you going to Florida? Going to be gone and
Yeah, you have to show up then,
you be gone?
lady, in January, and then you can fly out of here. I hope it's a foot of snow on the ground. That'll teach you.
no, it makes it all the better.
We struggle.
Why leave when the sun's shining?
Yeah, God. All right, Eric, and first off, we have a resolution number 3, 2019. It appears we have junk surplus, which
We have-
kind of makes me chuckle when I see those two words together.
We have junk and surplus.
I mean, some people think about us old guys that way. What we got, Eric?
And actually, it'll have a continued use. Dave Pruitt, who's done our music, July 4th for years, wishes to have the unit and take it out to a trailer or a campground that he, out in Greenfield.
What is it again?
It's a campground, the
No, what is it? What are we getting rid of?
show wagon, the old show wagon.
Oh, the old show wagon. Okay. Okay.
We have no title. It's, it was a gift from
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, and it's,
It's sentimental to me because
It
that was
came
used
from-
at the state cross-country meet forever, and I actually stood on that my senior year, way back in 1980. That's what they rolled out because we ran at the old South Grove Golf Course. What do we got there? Let me read it to you. Resolution, as read, has possession of a show wagon which is no longer usable in its present state, which was donated to the city of Lawrence by Indy Parks and now declared surplus. Surplus property is worthless value. Is it really worthless?
it is to me.
Wow. People have said that about me. And may eventually result in a cost to the department to dispose of. Therefore, the department desires to dispose of the surplus property. Surplus property is determined by the controlling director. The Parks Department is hereby classified as worthless and has little or no value to the city. And that's what's parked out there, correct? Or out there, wherever the hell it is there. There you go.
Is somebody coming to get this?
Yes.
Yeah,
We don't have to haul it off.
no, he, will design a letter of waiver of liability.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, if once we get rid of it, if someone,
Yeah.
God forbid,
I'm gonna suggest they haul it out there and take the wheels off of it so it can't be moved, but,
okay.
and that they also paint over the Lawrence decal
Oh,
on it.
God, yes. So with those caveats, I think that it needs to be added. I mean, they need to know that it has to become a permanent structure, quote unquote, by taking the wheels off in any,
That we don't have any liability.
yeah, we
Right,
have no
and I'll
liability.
have Ashley create a waiver of liability for us.
Okay, and any identifying symbols, signs, anything that says it, City O on there, ixnay. Are we good? All right, that's the motion. I need a second since I read the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Get rid of the old show. God, man, that thing's been around forever.
You could probably go sign your name on it.
I might do that, by God. That was back when, Tom, you remember me when I had that kind of afro? That was my afro days.
Jeff was here.
God.
My old office at 46 in Chadlin,
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
there's a little garage behind where the house was,
Uh-huh.
and there's a center beam in that garage, and it's got signatures on it. And one of the ladies who lived in that house originally told me that's where they had the senior dance in the mid-30s.
Really?
In the garage of that house, and the seniors signed their name on that center beam. It's still there, and you can still see the name.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
So, just in case.
See, we don't get old.
Well, if you were in that group, your name's probably over there, but
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
that's our generation.
All right, real quick here. We do have, and Eric, has this been shared with the rest of the board yet?
No,
Okay. Let's go back to a galaxy far, far away, long time ago. Last month, with the issue of our master plan, that scope of services that was presented by Structure Point for $38,000. They have come back with a new proposal, which would make the total cost $32,000. They have agreed through project management. They've redefined its scope and schedule at a cost of $4,000.
they,
Go ahead. And
I'm looking at the old one.
they also have, a big one here is conversation, public outreach coordination, which when I read through the scope of services there, it included conversations with City of Indianapolis Parks Department, and the only conversation I want to have with those people is why they continue to get $250,000 plus a year from City of Lawrence residents, but I've already reached out to new elected city county council folks. I didn't have a discussion with them on that. One of them I had as a student. Girl, what the heck? And the other one was conversation with Department of Natural Resources, which I think the city, Eric in particular, probably should be the point person to have direct conversation. But they've decided they can cut those outreach.
So are you going down the plan that they gave us?
No, I'm going through what they're retracting.
So you can't tell me where that came out of the original?
Eric, where that? Okay, here you go. Yes, I can. They're taking, let's work backwards here. Let's go back. Project management, week 1 through 2.
Management? Okay.
They're wanting to take back, they're willing to take off $4,000. Public coordination and outreach,
Oh, wait a minute. That means that whole section they're not gonna do?
Eric,
No,
They only had a total of $4,000 on that whole section.
yeah, it's, Judy, it's just in that,
I mean, they put a price tag of $4,000 on that, so if they're taking that off, does that mean they're not doing it?
no, that's not the case, Jeff. I'm sorry, that it's, their removal, you can see it's a line strike on item F in section 2, the stakeholders meeting,
right?
and then item E. We will have the stakeholders meeting, or we'll do it
In-house?
in-house instead of them doing the stakeholder meeting with the various departments.
Okay, I see where you're going.
So it's just actually those two items.
Got it. I now it makes
Within
sense. My bad.
section 2.
Apologize. So it's under stakeholders, it's under public coordination and outreach. Are they under E and F, stakeholder meetings, or it says with various city departments will be done in-house, and stakeholder meetings with Indy Parks and DNR. Those are stricken from there.
We'll either do it propose we do it ourselves, or again, I'm really not, DNR might be a individual or group that we need to address, but Indianapolis, I'm not sure that's even a viable
Taking out.
time to utilize. And then, and along with that, you'll see that Dina and I went through today, and Judy, I think I spoke to you about these the week after the last meeting, and these are the proposed areas where we can pull monies
I
from.
want to ask you about that, but what else before we move to that, what else are they taking out of this plan? I mean, how they
That's-
shaved off 4,000 out of that section by those two items?
That's what they
Okay,
proposed, and the
Brought-
rest
that's
of
what
the
brought it
plan
down to-
stays the same. We will coordinate the meetings, so that'll be some invitations and things that we'll have to do in-house, but other than that, it's
so does that mean there's another 2,000 off of somewhere else? Didn't you say they brought it down to 32,000 or 30?
it is 32,000.
So there's another 2,000 they took off not doing something else.
And again, Judy, that might be us doing the public notice for the meetings, which I don't see in here. I don't have a copy of the original proposal, so I don't know.
What'd you say, kid?
All right?
Where, huh? Would it fall under F? stakeholder meetings, does it fall under that scope? That's probably to have those stakeholder meetings, they would, I'm guessing here, folks.
Oh, yeah.
An umbrella procedure of making those public announcement that those meetings are going to be held. I'm saying F, that's implied in F.
Man, I don't know, Joe. I truly can't. That was,
Maybe from Ramble.
the, I don't remember what.
Like deliverables, outreach documents. Look under deliverables, outreach documents, recording and synthesizing input from stakeholders, one public meeting, and revised, updated goals and objectives.
There
I
might
don't
have
know
been.
what a cost is for that,
Yeah, I don't know.
but if we're doing F and E,
Well, that's what he said. They're taking $4,000 off of that section for those two. That just means $2,000 coming out from somewhere else they shaved. I just wondered what it was.
or what's, yeah, oh, I agree wholeheartedly. I don't know if that's, but seems like if we're gonna run the meetings, I'm spitballing there.
And I apologize, I do not have the original, so I can't tell you where the,
Now, Eric, from the accounts here that we have 32,000 without me having to go down into the weeds, where are we taking this money from?
well, the first three accounts that's our professional services account.
Okay,
So that originally, that's the 18.5 out of that account. That was the original 20,000 we talked about.
right,
And then the others, 433 is, that's public, that's, let me look it up real fast. I think that's
printing and advertising.
printing and advertising. 436, both 1 and 2, is repair and maintenance. We still have some money in that account, so we didn't bring those all the way down because,
And that's for the year ending December 31st?
yes,
Okay,
See, this is last month.
so it would not impact us going into 2020?
no,
Okay,
36, repairs and maintenance out of 1 and 2. That's where you're taking 8,000 out of that, right?
yeah, 7,300.
no, yeah, 7,300.
7,300, yes.
73.
And 37, rentals other. Okay.
And that drops those accounts to nearly nothing, so, but we've paid our Portalet bill, so that's really all that comes out of that
That one.
account.
3,000 out of 37?
Yeah,
And I'm going to ask an obtuse question here. It is not an expectation that this department is expected to return any funds or money to the general funds of the city?
we don't know. That's,
The remittance process, I mean, that's how Indiana brags about keeping its budget balanced. They play budget games.
yeah, and truly, if, and we can do these all in-house, these transfers, it doesn't require, Parks Board.
Approval meeting.
I mean, yeah, we'd certainly like you to approve it, but we don't have to come back with an ordinance or a resolution to transfer it because it's all in the 4.3s.
Right.
We can do it in-house if it's, again, if the controller allows it.
Thomas, Judith, Ms. Helen?
So I just wanted to,
Floor's yours.
there's a reason I wanted them, so out of 431, you're taking 2,000. Correct?
431,002, 2,000. We have
3,000 out of 433? 433.10?
3,500, yeah.
3,500. Oh, that's up to 73 from 436,
Yes.
and then 3.
27, or 437.
7. All right. Who's the math major? I didn't tally it up as I was
I
writing
can
it.
write,
I
you
think
half
we're
of
at
that
14, I
thesis.
think we're at 14.8. Let me look real quick.
Or you go out the bubble, I got a couple now.
14.8?
That's what I got.
I get a star for that. 14.8. We're taking 14.8 out of our budget to add to the 20 we already had budgeted to cover the master plan, right?
Is that correct?
Yes.
So that's 34.8. Well, we can keep $800 somewhere, can't we?
Okay. Your money.
If they're gonna charge us 34, they cut their bill down to 34,
32.
32,
32.
so we still need some money.
No, we came up with 32, so, yeah.
Wasn't it 14.8? We had a total of 14,800, what we added up
Plus
here.
20, right?
Yeah. We had 14.
Yeah, the issue is up at the top, Eric, because up at the top, it's only 18.5, and I thought we had appropriated 20,000 to do our
Well,
initial.
we have $18,626 in that category, so we're
Okay.
leaving $126 in that account.
Okay,
The
not-
the controller doesn't like, for me, I suggest taking every penny out. She doesn't. They like to leave
balance,
well, they just like round numbers, so that's what.
I get it.
So, yeah, 18.5 out of that, 18,500 out of 431. And then the rest should add up to 17.5, right?
18 and 14.
This one here,
Or,
Yeah, it adds up 32,000.
32,000?
Yeah. I kept my shoes on to count that. I didn't
That's
leave
where I
my
was off
toes.
at the original 18-something.
Yeah, I thought it was an over two.
Yeah.
Colleagues, I'm gonna make a motion. So one of y'all have to make a motion, but those are the numbers to get a master plan. I would entertain a motion that we enter an agreement with Structure Point for creation of our 2020 master plan.
I'm not doing it.
I can't. Anyone?
Maybe some more, maybe we should discuss this can I have a question?
sure, I'll try to answer it.
We didn't even ask anybody else for a price yet.
I spoke to the Franklin Park Department, and they spent 47,
City of Franklin?
City of Franklin.
What's their whole budget? That's relative.
I don't know,
It's more than ours.
probably.
They operate in a different.
Isn't Indianapolis I don't know what they paid for theirs, but their budget's $35 million.
I guess this is my stance on it. This, the 20 years I've served, this is a first time we've got a master plan that has to be, really inclusive. We've got trails issues. We've got an arts district issues. This is really the first time I've really seen a hardcore push from, forget the department, but from the executive to get monies, grants from, beyond taxpayers. The dollars that we're competing against for, we're in competition with other cities of 50,000 folks. Their ability to raise money, we're unique because of Unigo, we all know that, okay? We've got to put something in detail beyond the demographic numbers and all of that, but we have to demonstrate that this is where we're headed, and we can't get there unless we have X amount of dollars, but we're going to be good stewards of those dollars that come to us from grants that are given to us. This will be the last master plan I sign off on for the city of Lawrence, Parks Department, I guarantee you that. And I think we've reached a point where we have an opportunity to get some dollars that are out. No offense, but it's been a light of fire under Eric's butt to go after grant money. And I will guarantee you, I've known Eric 30-plus years, I will light a fire in his butt, going, why are we leaving money on the table? And I think this master plan, I mean, you know how bureaucrats operate, Tom, you know that definitely, as teacher.
Some familiarity with it.
Yes, and you know how bureaucrats operate. This document is our bureaucrat talk. To go out and get those dollars that this city just simply, we're giving $250,000 plus to the city of Indianapolis. Where are we gonna get those additional dollars unless we demonstrate to DNR and other agencies, be it the feds or at the state level, that we need them and this is what we're gonna use them for, and we're gonna be good shepherds of it. And to me, $32,000 for a master plan in 2020 is nothing. What did we pay for our last tie-in one, 17,000?
In 2004, yeah.
Well,
And we didn't have an arts district we're getting ready to build. We don't have a real serious trails, and I am going to be blunt. I want to see some parks south of Pendleton Pike. There's no reason why they're not parks south of Pendleton Pike. And I don't know where we're gonna get the dollars or monies, whatever, to do it. And this master plan document is supposed to be our blueprint that we're serious about what we're doing. Because if not, we're gonna continue just to have Little League Baseball, soccer, do our festivals, and Fridays at the fort. And that's not getting it done. Not if you wanna, we're still a drive-through community or a bedroom community, depending on how you look at it. We get a lot done with a little money. We really do. We get a lot done, but we've got to, I hate to use this phrase, we have to think outside the box a little bit. I think this master plan, if it's done right, done well, will help us get outside that box. That's just how I see that. You know, serving on the reuse authority that I did for 10 years, we thought the city of Lawrence was gonna die on the vine when Fort Harrison was closed. And though I don't know the need for the reuse authority now, it hasn't died on the vine. So yeah, this is a chance for us to play our part in it. And that's my 2 cents, Thomas.
How many grants have we gotten from DNR over the last several years?
Well, I know we've gotten land and water conservation funds 5 times. 4 times we've used it, 1 time we turned it back in.
For how much?
200,000 each, so.
We did, what'd we do with them?
The original one was for the shelter house and the Perks office building. That was in early 80s.
Oh, jeez.
Um, Fall Creek Park, we did the shelter project there.
And we don't own Fall Creek Park.
We don't own Fall Creek any longer. Part of it was, we did one for Veterans Park, for the park development there. This last one we just received for Civic Plaza, and then the one that we turned back was the canoe launch.
Right. So the most valuable and most relevant one is kind of tied into where we're going with the Arts District, and that is the Civic Plaza. The Arts District, Civic Plaza kind of ties together.
Yeah, again, if you have your discussion of a park south of Pendleton Pike, if that's inclusive in the plan and something comes available, then you've got it outlined in your plan and you can apply for that.
Because we're a unique also community. We've never charged, I don't ever see it happening, we don't charge impact fees to developers, be it a business, be it housing folks, which personally has handcuffed our ability for either sidewalks, development of parks, trails. I mean, what we do is put on the back of the citizens that live in Lawrence. And they're subsidizing the folks that live in the city of Indianapolis also. So that's my spiel. I'm passionate. I respect Judith. I like how you force the issue here, and I respect.
there's a reason. I mean, having the document I don't care what you pay for it, is not going to get things accomplished just because we have the document. I know it's a checkbox on grant process, and I understand that. I understand why it's important. It's too bad that we had to delay this. At the last week's meeting, we talked, two representatives here talked about developing a maintenance plan and a capital improvement plan. Well, I think there was one on the previous two, and we had those, and it didn't do anything. We weren't prepared for this expense coming up, and we're taking $7,300 out of the area where we need the money. I get what you're talking, they talked about trails, fine. We can develop trails, we're gonna have an arts district, but what are we gonna do? When we took this amount of money, with no help from the other departments, to cover the cost of this plan, and I understand we need it, that's not my argument that we need it. An example is our community building on Franklin Road. That thing is shabby on the inside. We're asking people to pay comparative money for the square space they could rent at a hotel to get a ballroom and use the kitchen themselves. The kitchen is in horrible disrepair. It's got the same, I think it's the same equipment that was in it when the building was built.
Yep.
You can go in that kitchen and they stopped, it's not, I've gone in there and see kitchen cabinet doors hanging by one hinge. Well, they don't fix them anymore, they take them off. So now we've got cabinets there with no doors. And we're asking people to pay to rent that. The refrigerator, it's got one shelf in it? It's a double-door commercial
Yeah, I'm not
stainless
sure
steel
if-
fridge with one shelf. We had a plan before, but I don't see where we have they talked about building in a maintenance plan and a capital improvement planning. Well, we better do that. We need to make sure if we're talking about whoever's going to do this 5-year plan, that plan gets instituted, and that's what they want to take out. That's where they cut it out.
I think in response to that, that's where us as a board, where once more, we have to hold.
Aren't they supposed to meet with us then for us to tell them where to put that in?
Well, I
We need a
think this-
maintenance plan.
As a parks board is now where we have true ownership. Eric, I'm gonna throw it back on you. If we're going to approve this agreement here, you are going to have to get with Joe and whatever. I mean, this is where we need to include economic development, which they need to be a part of this. And formulate the questions. I mean, Judy's already brought up what should go in this master plan. I mean, if we are going to do the in-house questioning of stakeholders, I think we're the first stakeholders that you go to. And then second, folks that rent it would say the community center or Starrett Center or Gin Park. What deficiencies do you see out there? And I agree with what you just said.
If you go in there, this board as a group ought to go in and lay eyes on
That's what should.
the building. And we're asking, if we want Lawrence to be top-notch, that building's not a good example.
And that's where, and a caveat onto that, if we are going to do the in-house, it has to be, we're in the 21st century. You take the park board to each one of these facilities, Judith already identified an eyesore. If, in the last master plan, we had maintenance that was a part of it, we obviously have fallen short of that. I mean, that reflects heavily, I mean.
No, and I'll agree with that 100%, and we need a maintenance action plan for each facility or each park or each, you divide it whichever you want, but yeah, you're exactly right. And we try to do that in the budget cycle, and things get pushed around.
Right, when we plan for that in the budget cycle, and as you and I had a conversation, then we find out we get stuck with paying, say, the advertising for the farmer's market to iHeartRadio. Why should that come out of our park
Yeah.
budget? And that's one of the reasons I want our expanded expenditures. Why should this Parks Department be paying that?
It should be
Because
coming out
we're
of economic
strong-armed
development.
by the other departments of the city.
That was 2 years ago.
Well,
But we budgeted again, we budgeted this year thinking it would happen again this year, so
I am,
that's,
I mean, I think we as a board need to be able to look more detailed where the money's going and if we're paying bills that other departments should be responsible for so that we could cover our own expenses and keep ourselves up to top-notch level.
have you talked to any quality parks, like good police and good fire protection, all are tied into good communities, which leads to companies moving or wanting to relocate to a particular location, which economic development, that's their job, is to recruit. They have not put, they've got a game in this. They've got stake in this game.
well, I think Joe Murphy's doing a lot more of that for the city. Cam's still,
Right.
Cam's a
but
contractor for us
But
now,
we, to kind of take some of the burden off us, I mean, like I said, these kids, if you play soccer, we're helping a whole lot of businesses around here when we host a great big soccer event
That's a lot of money.
out here. But I think economic development folks could also assist us in getting it's the best kept secret in the city of Lawrence is the Parks Department. I've said that since I've been on the board. I will always say that. We do more with less, but we need to do even more.
Well, it's marketing. Good publicity will get you new customers and favor. But I guarantee you, the people that go into our places and rent it, like the few we've asked for monies back, that bad publicity, when they come in and they're paying their money and they get grossed out when they see the sink, that's gonna give you a lot of bad publicity. That won't you'll get more publicity out of that than you will good for the rest of the things we do.
right. No,
All right, colleagues, we've reached that point.
You're back to your motion.
It's out there. We have one or two things. We can table it. There's always, the old saying is, all right, we got to have solutions. This thing has to get moving or we're going to be really in up a certain type of river without a paddle if we don't get moving on this map.
we have to have our purchase order requests in by Friday or they're not going to get granted this year, so.
So that's our
So
point.
if we
Go ahead.
approve this, if we approve your motion, they are still obligated to come back to this board
And drill them.
and talk about the way we want their plan to be structured, correct?
The
Our
timelines,
obligation, they're gonna come to us and we tell them what we want them to put in the plan.
and if
how we want it
if they can do that for 32,000, I'm sure they will. But,
I think this is where the five of us, whoever the fifth will be eventually, us. No offense, Eric, you're out of this conversation right now. We have ownership. That master plan has more of our footprint on it than Eric's footprint on it. Because we're signing off on whatever, $30,000, whatever the cost is. We're signing off on it for the next 5 years. And what
David, you're the only one that's got the new version. I don't know what it is. All I've got is.
It's the exact same thing, except it's the stricken parts of part 2, public coordination and outreach.
I thought I did.
So I would just want to be confirmed that they have to come back to us and we tell them what they're going to put in.
Oh,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
again,
Why should we just sit back and let them do it?
I mean, dissected. We have them come back. If we have to, we can have a special meeting. Where the only thing on the topic of the agenda is this, which I prefer to do, is to have a separate, it could be a Tuesday, an hour long at Eric's office, as long as notice is served. I'd like to have Joe there at it. So he's in the loop with us. But I would like to have, whoever it is, I think they listen to us. I think that's what needs to happen.
When do we have to have this in?
we, the expenditure, we have to have our purchase order requests in by Friday.
Day after tomorrow.
You have to have what first in?
The purchase order requests,
Oh,
yeah,
to the board.
to the controller's office.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we will have to, along with that, before that, we'll have to do a
Transfer.
transfer, department transfer. Have that approved before we can actually ask for the purchase.
Do we have to, would we have to approve that transfer or
No, this is all
in-house?
in-house because it's in the same
Got it.
budgetary, it's in the services, the 430s.
Okay, under the same column.
So we can do that in-house.
This is a legislative process in process.
Like making sausage.
It is.
At least we actually really like each other. Like,
You're missing your meeting, your game.
And
You don't look at me. I'm
If it-
running the meeting.
well, we've reached that point. I can't make a motion.
Well,
Speak. Speak.
what would moving it to another special meeting tomorrow do, or Friday? What would that do?
We have till 4:30 Friday to get these things in, right?
yeah,
I'm available. Tom and I are retired. Helen, you're retired. We're available.
I'm too.
No, that's right. Now we do nothing but sew and
Yeah, we don't do anything
we
yet.
don't do anything.
so what would the board want to meet with Grant from Structure Point?
Oh, Judy, is that what you're wanting? Say yes. Because
No,
I know that's what you want.
no, I really don't. Well, I thought maybe we would know more. Maybe if, too bad we can't call him up, phone a friend. I would want to know. It seems to me if he's taken out a lot of things, for crying out loud, if we got to do the real important part here, then we ought to keep the money and do our own. I mean, it just seems like they're putting a lot back on us.
I don't know if they're putting a lot back on us. I like the idea we have control over stakeholder interviews. We know, God, I'm going to sound arrogant, but what the hell? Think we know what we need in our parks. I'd like to think, because we've all been around a while, I would like to think we know what we need in our parks. I don't think we're creating work for ourselves. We're lighting the fire, you could say in that phrase, we're lighting the fire under Eric, and we're gonna involve, like Joe Murphy would be very good in this. Like I said, this is an economic development thing. We have real ownership of what we need in our parks. I know what I'd like to see as far as, I won't let loose in public over it. There's a couple of parks that I'd like to see utilized differently, I should say. You brought up the issue of maintenance issues that we need.
We're the only department that can generate its own money outside
Right.
of taxation. We are the only one.
Bond, yes.
And the only way we get to do that is through the rental of our facilities or
Right.
other fees. And we're gonna lose that if we don't maintain them better.
But I think that's where,
Upgrade, and that takes the money, and that's, I guess it's part of the sticking point for me when I see how much money we're taking out of the other accounts that we could have
but that's just for
done things with.
this year, correct? It does not impact next year, correct?
Correct. It's just this year's money. And it's all out of the general fund. You'll notice we didn't take any out of the non-reverting fund, which we could have, or which, we could have. But again, that's our money, so that stays in there. So Dina and I didn't,
Can we use non-reverting funds to do any of this maintenance work that needs?
yes.
Because it's new purchase or something, or I guess we just,
Well, because it's derived from the facilities we rent and, non-reverting can't be spent on, has to be spent on programs
Have to
or,
go directly back into the facilities of which the revenue was generated from.
correct.
much money's gonna be left in the budget, in our budget? After we take this?
Oh, I don't know, I haven't,
I know, I really didn't. Well-
Pejorative.
It's okay, you just made me
You
chuckle.
can't save it and carry it over until next year.
That's,
It's-
The city's general fund.
yeah.
We might as well spend
Yeah,
it.
the money that's not, we don't use goes back to the city's general fund.
Yeah.
That's kind of like I was saying earlier, that's how the state balances its budget.
That's the way they did it. when I was-
Agencies they spend 92% and send the rest back.
True.
Then you lose it.
Then you lose it. I get the whole point of being able to put it somewhere, but,
I'm trying to, looks like we spent 1.1 so far. And we have, year-to-date, we have roughly 230 outstanding.
Does that include this 32,000?
230,000?
It does, yeah.
Say it includes.
230,000 outstanding?
I think I'm looking at that right, Judy. I'm not sure if I am or not. Let's see, current.
That's a lot. I mean,
Dina, can you tell?
How much are we gonna have left over at the end of the year if we adopt this? Go right to the bottom line.
yeah, that,
Is that a good way to put that?
yeah. That's
Unless-
what Helen and I both want to know.
Can you tell?
I'm sorry, you're asking.
I guess it doesn't really, well, like Helen said, it's all, we're not going to get to keep any of it
No,
anyway.
you lose it if you don't
Yeah.
spend it by the
I
end of the
get
year.
that.
You lose it.
There's, right now, there's $535,000 in there.
The
But
general.
that's in the general, but that's including the $196,000 for the streets. Well,
Okay.
For the streets.
For Harmon Way.
Yeah.
Isn't that a designated, we've had this conversation before, see, I don't think that should come out of our budget anyway. This is part, I guess part of this sticking point, part of the thorns in this issue is the fact that our budget gets rated by the other city departments, I feel. And I think we should be able to be more protective of our own money.
Well, I don't think we get the recognition of economic impact
That's a designated street.
either.
If it has a name on it, it's a designated street. It should fall under the street departments.
Dedicated,
Yeah.
not designated.
Dedicated street. It should fall under the street department anyway. We've had that conversation before with it. And I think maybe I'll make it a point to follow up more.
Well, Judith,
If they don't boot me off into the Badlands again or something, but
Judith, colleagues, where are we going with this?
one of you can keep it done.
I'm looking at you. You guys know obviously how I feel about it.
I know.
But do we move forward with this or not?
If we're gonna lose the money.
I agree. If we're gonna lose the money,
Yeah.
it's a hard pill to swallow.
It is.
One of you guys.
Do I perceive that as a motion?
Go ahead, tell you did it before.
No, I'm gonna do it once, I'm doing it again.
Okay, I'll go ahead and,
Okay, do I get a second?
you
Oh,
said
wait
you'd
a second. Second, I'll second it. I'll second it. I feel like I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, no, discuss. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry. Step back.
I want to see where we're going here.
Discussion. I'm
You
sorry,
know,
I apologize.
my concern is, we're clearly under-resourced. We can't get done what we need to do. What I want out of this plan is, how much are we under-resourced? What do we need to do to get things up to where they need to be? You know, we've
Exactly.
got maintenance problems. I mean, I don't even know if you got, I know you don't have enough people.
I was gonna say, we got staffing problems.
Yeah, so I mean, how many more staff do we really need to get the job done? How much money do we need to fix some of these problems and then get on a schedule where we don't continue to have these problems?
Following that line of discussion, can we tell them that that's gonna be the parameters of their?
You are creating that part that Dave X'd out.
But I don't want them coming back to us and say, well, you're only getting, paying us 32,000, we can't do that.
Yeah.
We won't know unless they, hell, this is all a gamble. Eric, before we submit a claim here, even if we were to approve to go forward, I don't want you submitting squat yet. Is it possible that their representatives 3 of us. Could you arrange where we could
He actually,
beat them up? But beat them up at the parks office tomorrow or Friday?
I'm sure I could get Grant to come talk to you.
I don't want to beat up the.
I want to, I want to commit.
I don't want it to be
commitment.
adversarial.
Commitment. Thank you, Tom.
My intent is not to be adversarial. I just think we ought to claim the money that's for the park department and not have it taken away and use it to the best of our abilities. That's what we're asked to sit here and do.
If they put together a real plan that we really use and that we can use.
It's tailored to us.
Well, and we need to show people outside of us that we need more resources.
Yeah, because I
If
consider
we can
Richmond to be
develop a
plain.
plan that does that, then it's useful. If we're just getting it, putting it on the shelf, maybe getting some money from DNR.
Yeah.
Then,
Then the $4,000 one would have worked, yeah.
yeah, so, but I want to be able to use it for something, because, we know that we need more things done, just to maintain what we have. I'm not talking about even adding things on. There's lots of things that we need to do.
Oh, yeah.
We just can't get them done. There's not enough people, not enough money, not enough time.
Okay, we're gonna rework this, though it's been seconded, we have to work backwards here. It is a second. Eric, can you get them, I'm gonna go Thursday, who's available Thursday,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow?
I have a doctor's appointment at 11, heart doctor, can't miss that.
No, there's certain doctor appointments
No,
you
we
can miss.
want you there.
I can be there then, Judith, can you be there?
I believe so, it just a matter what time.
Friday.
I mean, yes, I can do it.
Eric, sometime, anytime tomorrow works.
Okay.
So we have a second,
How about Friday open too?
or Friday. You can still vote. We can call a quorum. Eric,
Helen can make it on Friday if.
right, but more importantly, why don't we do this? I'd like to meet tomorrow, but send out a notice. Can you send out a notice tonight that we could have a Parks Board meeting on Friday to vote, to finalize an agreement with these people?
You don't get the 48-hour thing.
Yeah, I think it's gotta be 48 hours, Sheriff.
Well, 7:10 on Friday.
You're gonna have a meeting at 7:10 on Friday?
I don't think so.
Again, I don't, I'll see when Grant can be here, but maybe you have
All right.
a 1 o'clock meeting and a 1:30 meeting.
Colleagues,
I don't know how
anybody
that
can
has-
jump in here on Bob's Rules of Order. Go ahead.
Already
Even
butchered it, I think.
if we approve it, that still doesn't mean there's a contract with them, does it?
No, you have signed the
That's where I
contract.
was going, Tom. Thank you.
So we could still not sign the contract.
Correct.
Good point.
Okay, so a second, but, all right, so I will amend the motion here. Per our conversation with Structure Point, just leave it at that, per our conversation with Structure Point, yada, yada, I move that we enter into an agreement with Structure Point to write our 2020 master plan. How's that sound? That's the rewrite from Judy's side.
Assuming that our meeting with them goes
Way we want it.
where we want,
Right.
and that, okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
Aye. Eric, get on that, please.
masters of.
I've got,
Get it out there, have coffee in the pot, and none of that cheap crap. It's horrible coffee.
It's like Yamana on Barney Mill.
Yes, this is horrible.
Are they here to, I bet they're here to
All right.
promote something.
Anything from the public? Did you learn anything?
no,
Yes. Guys, this is how laws are made. Yes, and we're actually, like I said, that you actually saw, this is one of those issues we've been kicking around and beating around. And yeah, when you drive by a park and see a park, or you played a ball game or whatever, yeah, as they say, crap just doesn't happen. And this is kind of the behind the scenes stuff.
Somebody called the other guy a liar or anything?
Yes, no one, yeah, we're not gonna call each other, we really like each other, but believe me, we do. So, but Eagle Scouts, troop projects, if you wanna do something, get a hold of Eric's office. The doors are open.
Were they-
Eric, anybody else?
I thought they came.
All right, I got a basketball game to go watch.
Good, good.